What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of SSPN Reacts. I'm Jude, that's Ethan, and while this may not be the longest video or podcast of all time, we've got a little bit of nuggets. We got some intel, Ethan. I haven't even told you what it is,
Have not.
and we're going to react to it live here, but basically, we've got some information on the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. If you clicked on the video, you already know what it is because you've read the title, but for the sake of the video, we wanted to keep it a surprise for Ethan here. So this is the most recent ESPN mock draft from Johnathan Givony and Jeremy Woo. He's been putting out some stuff on Victor Wembanyama. He's had some interesting articles, but I'm sure, as many of you know, Johnathan Givony, one of the main he's been around for forever whenever it comes to drafts. And then eventually ESPN bought out Draft Express. That's a whole nother story. Point is, this is one of the top draft experts, and this is his most recent mock draft. So obviously he has the Spurs picking Victor Wembanyama first, right, Ethan? There's no surprises here for you yet, but the big thing is here, I could go and read through this right here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to cut to the chase because this is what everybody's here for. Right here. The Spurs dispatched their medical staff to France last week to conduct their due diligence, and with that successfully out of the way, everything looks on track for him to be the number one pick and start restoring the proud franchise to relevance. And then there's also, they talk about the Monaco series right now. There's a lot of talk about that. That's for another video, Ethan. But what I will say is I think he highlights a good thing here. For those of you guys who don't know, the Metropolitans 92 are down 2-0 right now to Monaco, which is, look, like I said, that's for another video, but the point is they're definitely have been the favorite all year in the French league. And as Givony says here, he believes they're one of the best teams in European basketball, period. If y'all remember homeboy Jaron Blossom game, he's on that team. Which is so funny. But like, that's just like, obviously he didn't make it in the NBA. People can crap on the French league if they want to. I'm not going to be that. But I think that all of those guys play together as a team really well. And a lot of them have NBA experience. I believe Dante Hall is another one, and he was on a two-way with the Brooklyn Nets. The point is, a lot of veteran 30-year-old guys where, there's a lot of young guys on Metropolitans 92 right now. And even though they're down 2-0 with the team clearly overmatched talent-wise, so I was just kind of alluding to, in the second game, y'all probably saw the first game where Victor had like 8, 8, and 7 or something like that. It might have not even been 7. It might have just been like 8, 8, and 2, 8 points, 8 rebounds, and then a little bit of everything else, kind of like this little thing right here, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He usually does that. But the big thing was in game 2, really, he took over the game for the entirety of the first quarter, but then ended up with 19 points and 7 rebounds. The point is, he had a really big bounce back game, especially when you factor in the fact that it's European basketball. But with all of that out of the way, Ethan, those are my thoughts on that. I just wanted to address it. Tell me what you think about the Spurs sending their medical staff to France last week, because that's really the breaking news here, if you will.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that we did that. I feel like that's what we do every single time we draft or thinking about drafting somebody. You just want to do your due diligence and your homework. But it removes the burden. I've had nightmares the past 2 nights, Jude, that the Spurs have not selected him with the number 1 overall pick, and the Rockets somehow got him. And
that's such a Spurs fan night.
It is. It's legitimate too. I'm not lying. Like
I believe
last night. And in my dream, I was like, who the hell did we draft? Like, I just saw like the Rockets drafting Wemby. He's like, who did we draft at 1? But anyway, that is no longer a fear of mine. I will not be having any more nightmares because this safely proves that the Spurs will be drafting him with the number 1 overall pick. There shouldn't be any skepticism there, which is fantastic. I'm glad they didn't find anything either. That's right. Also extremely reassuring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not like, we've talked, so many times about, all the stuff that he puts into his health. Y'all can go check out the How Many Games Will Wemby Play video. We really dove into that. But I think the biggest takeaway for me was, just the fact that they were involved with him in some capacity, outside of just the Brian Windhorst interview, because I think there was a rumor that went around that like Pop went out to France and then it was debunked. So right, exactly. So the fact that like after all that stuff happened, it's like, oh, hey, here's some legitimate stuff where the Spurs went out and actually met with him, before the draft. And because of the uniqueness of the situation with him making this finals run in the French League, and really like as soon as the finals are done, he's just flying straight to New York and then going straight to San Antonio. So like, assuming that we pick him, but as we just saw in the article, we know that that's going to happen. And then the welcoming ceremony is apparently already planned, according to Don Harris, for Saturday, September 24th in San Antonio. So we're getting closer and closer. We're 8 days away. The Spurs have made contact, Ethan, before the draft. How do we feel?
I feel fantastic. And the thing about Pop going to see him too, like, isn't that technically not allowed anymore?
Yeah,
I know we did that with Timmy, but like, I'm pretty sure that's like tampering of some
yeah.
sort.
Now it is probably.
Yeah, we have the number one pick. Like, it shouldn't be
We're
about.
technically on the clock, but
Yeah, like, I mean, come on, Adam Silver. Like, did he really want to keep? There is no tension because we know exactly who we're gonna pick, no matter how many times the Spurs refuse to, give the answer.
Yeah. So not too much else to say on this one, but saw this today, and this was some Spurs news, if you will. Just the fact that there was some contact between the two teams. This is the first time, but I say the two teams. I mean, like, it's in Wemby's camp, and him. It just got me excited, and it was good to hear. So we had to share it with you guys. Comment, like, all that stuff. Tell us what you think about Wemby coming to San Antonio and what you think about the medical staff going out there and making sure everything's good and getting the okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And if you want to stay updated with the content, follow us on Twitter at SSPN on YT, at Jude McLaren, and at Ethan_Quintero. Appreciate y'all. We'll catch you on the next one.